the end. Was it Hiccup's imagination? Or was the female's singer's voice just as bad at singing as the male voice? Surely that wasn't possible. I shall never love again, sighed Fishlegs, putting the poem in his pocket. Well, people do say that being crossed in love is good for poets, said Hiccup. And look at Humongously Hawkshot. Worked out all right in the end for him. You may get a second chance too, said Hiccup. After all, you are only 13. The three friends and the two little dragons began to wander down the beach towards the steep, windy cliff path that led back up to Hooligan Village. Hiccup absent-mindedly threw a stone over his shoulder and up the beach. The stone landed a little distance away from the throne, which had hunched quietly on the sand. The waves were beginning to lap at the throne's feet, and for a moment Hiccup fancied there really was a giant invisible ghost sitting there, fruitlessly commanding the waves to be still, and to go back, just as Grimbeard the Ghastly had wanted to turn back time all those long, long years ago. But of course no human could rewind the past or stop the tide from coming in. Hiccup remembered the promise of the Dragon Furious, a dreadful promise indeed if it were to come true. I will return, and this time the Dragon Rebellion will be successful. We shall scourge this world with fire and leave no wretched human being alive, not a single one. The dragon's heart had been broken long, long ago, and a tragedy too terrible for Hiccup to comprehend. A tragedy like that had ghastly consequences. Ghosts will haunted beaches in the archipelago to this very day. Hearts like this dragon's heart hardened and twisted into dark and hungry forests. But Hiccup was young and optimistic. Human hearts could break and heal and beat again. Maybe dragon hearts were the same. Far in the distance he thought he could hear Humungus still singing. Once I'd loved truly Thor, and my heart played the price. Let me love truly Thor, let me love twice. Surely it'll be all right in the end, thought Hiccup. When the dragon said, unless I stop you, Hiccup, will be the end of us dragons. Your choice will send us into our final oblivion. Well, that couldn't be true, could it? Hiccup loved dragons. Some of Hiccup's best friends were dragons. Come on! Toothless swooped down impatiently and dug his claws into Hiccup's waistcoat and tried to drag him more quickly up the cliff path. We're going to miss all the breakfast, and Toothless thinks it might be eggs and bacon. Hiccup shook off his dark thoughts and turned away from the throne. His father was right. He would think about it tomorrow. There might be storm clouds to the south, where Humungus and Tantrum were headed into the future, and storm clouds to the west, over the island of tomorrow, where this tragedy had happened in the past. But right now, right here, a bright morning sun was shining over Berg, and everybody was safe, and breakfast was on the table. Toothless landed on Hiccup's shoulder, and Hiccup hurried after his two friends. Eggs and bacon were Hiccup's favourite too. And tomorrow? Well, tomorrow could wait for Thor's sake. The epilogue. This is the epilogue. Was it really 65 years ago that I discovered my destiny in the darkness of Berserk? It is another world, a vanished world, the dragons, the witches, the storms, the sword fight, and the shipwrecks of my childhood. The boy I was is so far away to me now. Sometimes I dream that same dream, though. The one that haunted me long ago, of the ghost lady and the ship and the boy and the dragon. The ghost, of course, is the ghost of Hiccup II's mother, Chinhilda, and she haunts the Bay of the Broken Heart, calling out for the baby who was taken from her by her own husband. That same dream still shakes my old body awake 65 years later in an ague of shivers and trembling in the dark watches of the night. But the dream has slightly changed now. When I dream that dream now, I am the ghost lady. I am the ghost lady, calling out to my lost child. Hiccup, I cry longingly. Hiccup, come back to me, Hiccup. And I hold out my arms. But the boy and the dragon is disappearing into the clouds, fading into the next glory, into the airy glory of the next world, and there's absolutely nothing I can do to stop that from happening. The boy turns his head. I cannot see his face at this distance, but he is heartbreakingly young. I hear his voice very, very faintly. Don't worry, he calls. I will come back, I promise. And here he is, Oh, that's my dog pigeon at the door. I'll have to read you. Oh. Now, hang on. Prophecy of the King's Lost Things. Hiccup has found the throne and the key. He now has 8 of the King's Lost Things. There he is. Will he discover them all? Find out in his next adventure how to steal a dragon's sword. I've now got to go. My little dog pigeon was scratching at the door. I've got to go and see her. Well, see you very soon for the next book, How to Steal a Dragon's Sword. The adventure is getting very exciting now, isn't it? Oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen is Hiccup. Oh, the Dragon Fury, surely the Dragon Rebellion isn't going to happen, and surely Hiccup isn't going to be the end of the dragons, and how is this all going to work out? We're going to have to find out. He has got the lost things, but how can Hiccup save the dragons and the humans from fighting each other to the death? We just don't know, because you don't see so many dragons, do you? Can he get in between the dragons and the humans fighting each other? I don't know. We'll have to find out in book 11. The adventure is now getting very exciting. How to Steal a Dragon's Sword. I'll start reading that soon.